Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Kissy, welcome to my channel. So, I wanted to do a reading today for the collective, and let me be clear on who the collective is, in fact, that I cater to. I cater to the High Priestess, Emperor, Empress energies. I cater to the High Priest, Emperor, Empress energies, okay? I feel that I almost had my whiteboard out. I wanted to draw this whole thing that was shown to me, but I probably will, just not during this reading. But it has to do with the, as you see in this card, when I pulled what was I going to read about, do you see how this looks like integration in the center, right? Like this is like I would say like the Kundalini energy. This is the yin-yang energy within the body, as above, so below, as within, so without. But what I wanted to address was that I take this work, this is not just personal work, but my sharing this with the collective is about those individuals that are genuinely seeking to be on the journey of self-love, self-worth, all the ways in which you are healed from having been in a toxic environment, toxic patterns, toxic family, toxic friendships, whatever, partnerships, experiences, any experiences that you've gone through in life that you seek to integrate and merge due to certain, shocks on your journey, or certain disappointments on your journey, or certain positionalities in terms of belief systems and how you've experienced the world as a whole, and what you've observed and what you've learned. And maybe there were parts or places or certain blind spots, I guess you can say, that we've had, and that's what I'm here to talk about, to share. So when I asked Spirit, what should I bring up today in the topic, it's our movement forward spiritually in terms of our connections, moving towards union and collaboration with others. So it's like coming together in order to collaborate with others. It's like whether this is your personal journey and you're doing this for yourself and you're deciding, me, myself, and I are going to venture out into the reality, into the physical world, and connect in the physical with people in places to do things that matter and that have holistic approaches to the dynamics, that have holistic approaches to life. In other words, other individuals that value the importance of a healthy partnership, of a healthy dynamic, of healthy connections. And by healthy we mean productive, growthful, and fulfilling for all that is involved, as I believe it should be. But there are people that, as much as they say they want that, they're unwilling to address the issues as they come, face them, and really get to the point of, how do I look at this situation differently, and what choice do I make? Is this a choice? Do I have a way to resolve this with this individual in this situation, doing these things? Do I have a way to resolve this on my own, and while maintaining the status quo of whatever that dynamic or whatever is? Can I change this on my own without disrupting the other? Is this an inner work? Is this a perspective issue? Is this a being forceful onto a matter? And so if you go ahead and you work on yourself and you kind of realize, okay, I'm there's an issue in the dynamic that doesn't seem to operate effectively. And when we say effectively, it's in terms of where there's dishonesty, unrealism, or a level of that the level of contrast becomes a matter of self-defense, protection, some sort of conflict. It becomes a conflict. And it's like, naturally, we're not people that should be in conflict. Naturally, if we're healthy and our needs are met and we're in gratitude, we're not in immediate danger, we're in a safe environment, and life is everything we need, we have here and now, then we are not in a hostile mindset or emotional space. And when we interact, we can actually interact in a peaceful mode. But if the moment we interact with someone, something comes up, you may say, this is what's coming up. Whether it's a trigger within me or whether it's something I'm recognizing in you that is still a trigger in me. I'm bringing it up because there's a discomfort, or there is something isn't aligned, something doesn't match up. What you say doesn't match what's going on and how I'm feeling. So there's like a resistance feeling. And when there's a resistance feeling and you bring it up, it should be openly received as, let's figure out what the resistance is so that there's a flow again. What's the point of the resistance? What is it? What's the blockage? What's the barrier there for? So we start to see that in that way we can discern people's, detect people's lives, or recognize pattern shifts, or recognize ways in which, someone's flow isn't flowing. And then you have to backtrack in some ways and look into, I guess you could say, reverse engineer that pattern, and then recognize, wait, here is a problem. Because if I can come up with a solution for that problem, if I can look at it in a way where it doesn't get me emotionally withdrawn, defensive, or whatever, then I should be able to relay that message onto you and bring up the questions required to get to that answer for yourself. But if I don't do that with you, and you don't do that with you, and if I do that with you, and to you is a problem with me, then I don't have to do the work with you. I can do the work with me. And when I do the work with me, I separate myself to decipher, to dissect, or to discern, to remove and bring space between two very different energies that when blended together, there's like a glitch, or there's like a little blip, and you ask yourself, what is the blip? Is the blip normal? Is it supposed to be there? Is the blip me, or is the blip you? And if you can't talk to me and have that conversation, and it turns into this whole defense mechanism and blah blah blah, now I know that there's a trigger in you that I don't see in me. So is that for me to resolve, or is that for me to remove myself and allow for you to unfold that and recognize that? And when you get to your source of the matter, you find your own balance, and then we can yet again merge. It's like the Chariot and the Two of Cups is not just spiritual balance, it's physical balance. It's not just our higher selves guided by spirit. It's also our physical bodies and our self in another, or how we see ourselves in another, okay? But coming together, and then this ability to collaborate. This Three of Pentacles is more like we're bringing together two separate things. So that's like, for example, two different products. But we can have two products or two assets. And if those two assets can come together, not asses, assets. If two assets can come together and create a third asset, that's a wonderful production. That's a beneficial, growthful connection. But if those two combined cannot bring together something productive or something healthy or something good or something, whole, then it's a creation run amok, or it's a product that's a blip in the system kind of thing. I don't know why it's coming out that way. But anywho, I wasn't even, as far as I knew, I was just supposed to go into going forward with the connection and collaboration. Okay. That was Virgo's in reverse. So the way I see it now, it's like it's collaboration now, because there might have been some side eyes, critiquing, judgments, or some kind of analysis, or maybe even like looking at things like from analytical perspective, but not connecting on an emotional level. Like it was I feel like someone took the time to really look at a matter by removing the criticism of others or even of self, but also being able to not fall into the Neptunian experience of getting called into our own illusions, right? So being able to be practical and observe a situation and a matter from a practical way, not unbiased by emotions and unbiased by the mental projections that we have, kind of thing. Okay. So I want to do a full reading and just see what the current energies say in regards to either what we were just talking about, because that could have just been one aspect of the reading, but let's just see what perhaps we need to know in terms of our... I think everybody really appreciates finding out about their partnership, the person they're interested in, the person that they're in love with, the person that they want to be with. So, whatever that is. We have here Sagittarius energy, and then we have the 12th house energies. So, Sagittarius may be dreaming or fantasizing, but also it's like they're seeing their manifestations, okay? A Sagittarius may be is learning about themselves by witnessing their own manifestations. A Sagittarius is learning about how they're manifesting their reality. Now, if it's not a Sagittarius, but look, the study again, study in the study. So it's like they're learning about, because this is also first house. This is like the ascendant. A Sagittarius might be seeing themselves, learning about themselves, and understanding their spiritual connection and in the physical. Now, like I said, this channel is for High Priest, High Priestess, Emperor, Empress energies, okay? Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. However, every so often you'll have individuals, initiates, for example, that come across this information out of curiosity, out of, just a very isolated incident or situation that makes them curious to these, what we would call esoteric arts, right? Things of a spiritual nature, things that they call taboo and woo-woo and weird and, However, I have to explain it sometimes for that individual. I don't expect or suspect that anyone in my audience that even listens to what I'm listening to, that this is anything other than confirmation or validation for their journey. I would expect that the like-minded individuals that listen to my content are in alignment with within their own spiritual journey to self-love and self-discovery and healing the past wounds, so that in their day-to-day they can move forward in life clear, move forward in life healthy, move forward in life more discerning, more selective, in a way more aware of what they need and want in their lives, where their downfalls have happened in life, so that they don't occur again. Learning from mistakes, not just, it's like going in levels, right? You may learn in a relationship, one of your earliest experience, you had to learn maybe rejection or certain kind of physical things that were tangibly visible to you. And then it moved into different levels. It moved into emotional, understanding emotionally, understanding mentally. So your connection with yourself and others on a physical level, and moving upwards towards a emotional, more sensual nature, more sensitive even, but more sacral energies. And then moving up from that, you go into like emotions, you go into your heart space, you go into your head space, you learn people mentally. Then you have to understand the psychology behind people and the makeup that they come with. Because if you're merging with another person or you're coming into a partnership with a person, their history influences your day-to-day life. Their experiences influences their, all of it. And I guess it's hard to notice it because, if we just get into a partnership simply because they're attractive to us, that's a great thing. It's like not everybody, gets involved in partnerships because they're attracted to someone. Some people get into partnerships because of convenience, or because it's lucrative, or because it's beneficial in some way, some form. So very rarely there are people that get involved because it's a physical thing. But those that do get involved because it's a physical thing may overlook all the things that are necessary to have a productive, life, or to have a healthy, meaningful life, or to have a life without strife and without problems, and to raise a family if that's what you so choose to do, have a family, but also to be a productive member of society. Anyway, so Sagittarius is learning something about manifesting what they've learned or who they are. And if it's not a Sag, it could be just your philosophy. You're learning something about your philosophies. You've studied philosophy, or you've studied, religion. You've studied something higher than your basic education. Okay? And now you've also tapped into learning more about the darker side of your emotions. Or you have really studied your emotional balance, or your emotional sense of self, or you could have tapped into someone's energy field and felt how they vibe. Let's clarify the study in the ballroom. So Dr. Orchid came out sideways, and this is Cancerian energies. This is a full moon that we just had in Cancer. But I did get a thing earlier about mother issues that could lead, and kind of like how they split. Like, you'll notice a man that has issues, unresolved issues with their mother, can have a problem with integrating their wife with the lover archetype within that partner. So it's like they have ideals of a wife that are almost wholly of a mother, right? Like this thing of like saintlyhood, but then they have that Lilith energy that could take on a very Capricornian devil energy, right? Which is like that part of oneself that wants to rebel and be bad and be, tap into taboo things in a way that when men get involved and cannot integrate that, they might find that they have to separate from their wife in order to have experiences that they don't think their wife is supposed to participate in. But in fact, when they do, if they do discuss it, if they do have the conversation openly, and that partner can actually become like a sounding board for those unresolved issues, then it doesn't have to actually play out in the physical. It could just play out in the mental realm. It could play out in the emotional realm. Some sort of emotional or psychological need that is lacking in the mother energy that manifests in some darker emotions, okay? Distorted emotions that can objectify sexuality and make a man, whereas the things that he wants to explore sexually he cannot bring and merge as one. So let's clarify why Dr. Orchid in studies here. See, the emotions in reverse, the ballroom again. It's like these oh my goodness, look at that. You see? Can't make it up. Ballroom in the ballroom. Emotions, and it's like a balance between our dark and light. It's like studying the dichotomies of our emotions, of our dark emotions when it comes to our needs, and kind of like any kind of distortion of our needs that are manifesting in our sacral, because that is the womb, which is the mother, right? So it's like whatever traumas of sexuality, whatever traumas of the womb, whatever traumas a man has in terms of being nurtured and his needs being met and the self-expression of that, it could affect, or it could be what is being balanced out due to being learned and understood from a higher perspective, understanding oneself, understanding one's how one is manifesting certain experiences in the physical reality from any kind of distortions in the emotional. So there's the environment could be toxic when it comes to thoughts. It could just be communication, or communicating negatively, communicating ineffectively, or just not understanding one's way of communicating in their environment. Yeah, it's almost like some things are kept secret, or some things, it's not. It's like it's very personal, certain things that people love. it's almost like their environment doesn't work with how they are or the things that they love. We have an Aries at home in the conservatory. Why is that here? You may feel good with yourself, at home with yourself. You may have completed a cycle of the ego. There was a change in the environment. And Aries is at home, chilling, relaxing. This could be an aspect of yourself, okay? Your sense of self feels like fulfilled, complete. Like you completed something that was like an internal transformation affected your environment or changed your environment. And it could be the learning, the higher perspective of what was learned about your manifestations and the way that distorted emotions when it comes to this is the mother, this is a distorted divine feminine empress energy, right? Because it's in reverse. So it's like collectively the energy of the divine mother within every individual, there's a certain sense of distortion. As children, we don't understand what feelings we feel. So any response that is given to our cry, to our need, isn't quite understood at that level. So it develops in certain habits, or develops in certain ways, in certain beliefs, in certain emotional responses that are distorted, that are not correct in terms of what they actually mean or what they actually are. And I feel like it had a lot to do with an environment that kept a lot of secrets, or an environment that didn't really work well with the concept of real self-love. This is Leo energy, but it's in reverse. So this is like very ego, very, it's like the environment was that this was the distorted Leo, or that the external power was supposed to be, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the concept of love, how it was being demonstrated, is not what it wasn't really what was fulfilling. It was distorted. So overcoming that, okay, so it's like when you're good with yourself and you've completed your own cycle of transformation within, right? To be able to see your manifested reality, your environment in balance. For your environment to be in balance with yourself, you had to, I guess, abandon or remove yourself from this distorted pride, this negative conversations and hidden motives, and trying to fix that in your environment, trying to fix all of that, because that need and tendency to fix that, to try to fix your environment via ego or via a false sense of self-love, only because it was being experienced on the emotional level in a way that was distorted. Jeez. So somebody got a better perspective of why they were manifesting bullshit-ass relationship with narcissists, basically, because they had mommy issues. This could be a masculine or a feminine. Anybody can have mommy issues. I think everybody has mommy issues to some degree or another. Some could have even I love my mother so much. She's so perfect. That could be a mommy issue, okay? That could be like a little over-idealization of mother. I'm not saying that it's wrong or bad. I love when people are genuinely, loving, especially to their mother, that they honor that they see the reverence for mother energy. But anywho, the point is that getting this higher perspective of what was being manifested due to emotional distortion leading to either the emotional distortion led to the environment being unfit or toxic for this individual, for you, or for the person you're interested in. And so therefore, removing or not healing that, basically, by healing that, you were able to complete that cycle and transform within yourself to create a balanced environment as within, like, it's balanced. You see that the environment here is black and white. It's like you have two sides, but it's in balance. So it's like being able to see the yin and the yang, being able to see the you and the me, the polarities, being able to be not enmeshed in the energy, but being able to separate, to see the differences. It's like when you're a kid and they say, show me the differences, like learning how to discern difference in things as opposed to sameness. So it could be that, something to do with sameness, or learning how to see sameness, or learning how to see difference. Whatever it is, it's being able to separate what is what, kind of thing. So there's going to be a change in a partnership at home. A partnership at home that that's in reverse. It's going to come into balance because there's going to be communication. It's going to come into balance because there's going to be communication about our needs, being met, and what we want. And this is 6 house energies. This is also the number 6 numerology, which is all about balance. The 6, it could be balancing your routines, balancing your health, just being in balance in your day-to-day. But a conversation, communication about that, and being able to revisit the past and discuss certain things about this partnership and the changes that had to be made in order for it to come into balance. So yeah, again, balancing the environment. Definitely a change in the environment. It's going to be balanced because there was connections that were a little bit shady. It was if it was shady, it was a matter of, this is Libra energy, okay? But it's in the reverse. So it's almost like we were talking about same, different. It's like balance could be misunderstood. I think that's why Libras get misunderstood. A Gemini here. Gemini also is a balance between the mind, the masculine and feminine mind. So someone could, there is a balance in the billiard room. It's all about balance and relaxation, being able to be at ease in the environment, having the environment in balance by maybe, it's almost giving me the idea that sometimes you have to dive into the darkness in order to get clarity in the light. It's like that's part of life, part of balance. So it's not to say that we get stuck in the negatives, but we don't run away from it or not be real about it if it's a matter of bringing balance to a situation for the best. You know what I mean? We have, again, the library is partnerships, but this is with your soul group, spirit team. This is Aquarius energy. And it gives me that this is a spiritual group. It could be now that you've completed and balanced out this transformation, now that your environment is truly balanced, okay? Whether that's your mental environment, whether that's your partnerships, even if that means you have to be the negative one in certain areas. But your environment is balanced. And it has to do with your spirit team working on this Taurus energy that was in reverse. This Taurus energy was in reverse. You had probably a karmic connection with the Taurus that was not aligned with your spirit team. And this Taurus energy, it has to do with underhanded values and the values that were not being expressed necessarily. Just maybe just very superficial versus, a deeper level of comfort in terms of our needs. Being more sincere about our needs, being more genuine about that. So maybe spiritually, like your spirit team kind of overcame or healed that aspect when it comes to your self-worth and your values and how well either you treat yourself or you let yourself be treated. How well do you let yourself be valued? So someone was expecting, or maybe someone you had connection with, resources were shared with. I feel like either they were expecting some kind of big change or big dramatic blowout, or some kind of like some big thing, some big disruption when it comes to like someone coming out of the spiritual closet, for example. And I say that because this is here spiritual values and this is philosophies. So it's like the whole thing, it kind of revolves around that. So I feel like someone was expecting, or I guess they were looking for like an epiphany about the Akashic information to be like something about the family or something about the past. They wanted, I feel like you were being challenged, or your spirit team, the reason why this energy was you were either protected from it or whatever, is that whoever this Taurus energy was or is, whether it's part of your own consciousness or you've actually experienced it with an individual, okay, that has high characteristics of a Taurus, if not being a Taurus. This person wanted to tap into your resources to bring some sort of like disruption to your spiritual connection, to distort your spiritual connection, to manifest some kind of karma from the past, from a past dark relationship or something like that. It could be maybe they wanted you to just continue to manifest dark connections, or connections that were ill-intentioned, or connections that were misleading, or connections that are hidden, secretive, just a whole bunch of turmoil behind closed doors. It's like, why would somebody even want that? Or maybe that's just a distortion of that energy. Yeah, this is like connections. This is like soul ties, family soul ties that are toxic. Yeah, definitely. Soul ties that are toxic in the family. I feel like your spirit team helped heal that. Or you're part of the soul group or soul tribe that brings light or brings energy to the shadow side of values. How values can be misconstrued as, we value this thing, but this thing that we're valuing is actually dark. It's not good. It's not, you know what I mean? Something like that. Clarify this. Yeah. People that value, like, for the familia. We keep these secrets for the familia. It's like, you're doing underhanded evil shit behind closed doors and you think it's okay. As long as you think nobody knows. But then it's like, if that's who you are, that's who you are. Then don't judge other people for being that. But if you're going to judge other people for being that, and you're going to be like, it's like, remember we talked about spiritual closet, right? It's like, let's say you come from a family that's atheist, or they don't believe in God and all. Oh, you know what it reminds me of? The movie, his name is Oscar, the Will Smith cartoon, Shark Tale? Is it Shark Tale? Yeah, it's Shark Tale. He has his little friend, the shark, who pretends to be a dolphin just to get away from his mafia family. He gets away from his mafia family, pretends to die, only because he wanted to be free to not be a cold-blooded killer like his shark family. His father, his brother, they were like sharks. He's like, no, he's gentle with the fish. He actually throws up when he has to, like, do that. Be a shark. He doesn't want to be a shark. He wants to be a gentle creature, not that ogre. And so this is giving me that kind of vibe. It's like you have people that perhaps soul connections in your family that for some reason your spiritual needs were something to keep secret, or something to keep hidden, or you followed a path that's different from theirs. And it's like, that, I don't know. Maybe it was just corny to them, whatever you do. Or even to be considered. I feel like people have a big misconception about religion and spirituality. Religion is fanatical to me personally. I see that it's you're being told this is how you praise, this is who you praise, this is when you praise, it's like it's all set in rules, but it's a discipline, and it's a controlled discipline but it's so that you can get to the place of coming to the realization that person that created the discipline received from doing those things. So it's like you're not following anyone else's doctrine. You're doing your own thing and discovering what they discovered on their own for yourself in your way. but somehow your way is different than the ways of your toxic karmic connections or whatever that might be, you know, whoever those people may be. And then at that point, your spirit team was like, no, our values are different. Our values are not distorted in this area. Like when you see things clearly, there is nothing in the closet, so to speak. It's like when you see beyond the veil, when you're in that 8th house and you can see the other side, the shadow, and you can see what's hidden, what's unseen, when you can go into the 12th house and go into the collective unconscious, you realize it's like it's an experience, or it's a everything is beautiful under God's eye, but we distort it when we don't understand it. So Chef White is a Capricorn energy. I think you've completed a cycle of leadership, or a cycle of being in charge of something, or someone or someone's, like your responsibility to a person, place, or thing is complete. So you could have ended a contract, like your contract is over. This is like, let's say, a basketball player being done with an organization, and now they're like an independent contractor. They ended their contract, and it doesn't matter simply because it wasn't even in balance. There was a lot of things that needed to be worked on, especially when it came to the resources that was being shared. So I feel like you or your person, with all this being cleared, okay, being able now to have a true sense of a correct gauge of value, a correct perception of your value, your worth. You were able to come out of a contract that wasn't valuing what you created, or what you managed, or what you were managing to do. And so when you took a closer look at the details, at the analytics, when you're like, wait a second, this is some shady stuff. Like, it's not working. Like, they're trying to keep something from ending. They don't want a certain cycle to end simply because it'll mess with their dreams. It'll mess with their reality, because you were like a cog in their plan, and without your participation in it, they don't really have a system. The system requires your attention to it, whatever that system is, whatever that plan is, whatever that idea is, work, job, whatever. I just feel like whatever this contract was that you had, that you were actually managing, you were the boss of, you were in charge of, you were, that it wasn't working because it lacked a certain balance when it comes to resources, shared resources, and upon investigation, you were able to see the dark side of this loophole. And you could also see the bigger picture of it all before it manifested into something that could have been, a harsh reality to experience, I think, too. So, I mean, take that as you will. I don't know if there's anything else to say. If there's any other storylines to connect to discuss. I think I covered a few different storylines, a few different situations. Let's just get clear here real quick. Those two that came out. So, okay, we have the mother energy. I think you're going to be recognized as this Empress energy in touch with their emotions, okay? But also, it's like you're vibrating at a certain frequency that your soul group can feel you. That connection of the true divine mother is being felt. There's something to do with some spiritual, let's clarify. A spiritual lie by a distorted Virgo energy. Is not balanced. That might have been a partnership. This is 12th house. In the 12th house, there could have been some spiritual lesson that was about to manifest or was trying to manifest, but it had to do with negative thoughts or like I said, critiquing or false analytics, false data, false information, false data. It was meant to either disrupt your balance, but it was definitely not in balance. And it had to do with a partnership. Okay? Or it could have been with you in regards to a partnership. Clarify the candlestick. Oh, I think it's what we were talking about. You and your environment. I feel like the distorted emotions that we were talking about affecting the environment and needing to separate from that. I think you're separating from that avoided some spiritual lie or distortion. It prevented it from manifesting within yourself or within your environment because it was not in balance. And it's all because you actually understood, you studied your connection with your spirit team. You understood the vibration. It's like you were able to discern the messages from your spirit team, and it helped you from manifesting this for yourself. It would have been a lie, whatever it was. Unbalanced thoughts about the home or about the family. It was a distortion. It was a matter of it was an imbalance. It was like there could be an Aries that was pretending to fix a situation. When it came to disinformation and an imbalance of information or something like that in regards to the past or in regards to family or in regards to a home that was unbalanced. But that cycle is over. And I brought that out to clarify Dr. Orchid, this Divine Mother energy. This individual could be an Aries person that was trying to fix but couldn't really fix a misinformation that was out of balance in regards to a home or a distorted perception about home and family. They couldn't fix it, so they had to let it go and kind of close that chapter. But doing so is what created the connection, despite the imbalance, to the spirit team in the 11th house, with the emotional connection that was already learned. Is what avoided and prevented some distorted manifestation in regards, that would have shown up in your life had you continued to be in that false energy, that false emotional response, or that false emotional belief derived from early childhood. I mean, we're talking about right out of the womb kind of thing, your first experience of your needs being met outside of the womb. So it's like some energy response was distorted and was then affected the environment and how you're manifesting. So getting the bigger picture of how you were manifesting allowed you to reverse engineer the entire situation in order to prevent a negative outcome of continuous manifestation from that distorted space. So that's the message. I'll come back with another one soon. Take care.